In the gilded halls of the Château de Ferrières. On a December night in 1972, the Rothschild family hosted a ball that would etch itself into the annals of infamy. This was no ordinary high society gathering. This was the Surrealist Ball, an event so bizarre, so visually arresting, that it continues to fuel conspiracy theories and artistic analysis decades later. But what if the bizarre costumes and grotesque decorations were more than just an eccentric party theme? What if they were a carefully constructed ritual, a public performance of secret rites, orchestrated by the master of Surrealism himself, Salvador Dalí? Tonight, we peel back the layers of this legendary event, decoding the occult symbolism and theatrical traditions that Dalí used to subvert the very elite he was entertaining. This is the true story of the Surrealist Ball, where high society met the high strange, and nothing was as it seemed. The invitations themselves were a harbinger of the strangeness to come. Written in reverse, they required a mirror to be read, immediately immersing the guests in a world of illusion and reflection. The dress code was strict: black tie, long dresses, and surrealist heads. This wasn't just a costume party. It was a mandate for transformation. Upon arrival at the chateau, which was bathed in an ominous fiery red light to simulate a house, ablaze guests were plunged into a labyrinth of black ribbons, a web they had to navigate like lost souls in an underworld. Crying cats and groaning figures lined their path, their journey a symbolic descent into a different realm of consciousness. This wasn't just a party entrance, it was an initiation. Every element was designed to disorient, to strip away the familiar and prepare the mind for the spectacle that lay within. The hosts, Marie-Hélène de Rothschild and her husband Guy, greeted their guests in costumes that set the tone for the entire evening. Guy wore a giant stag's head, a symbol of Cernunnos, the Celtic horned god of the wild, a figure of potent, untamed nature. Marie-Hélène, however, was the true centerpiece. She wore a stag's head adorned with tears made of real diamonds, a weeping beast of immense wealth and sorrow. This image wasn't just surreal. It was deeply symbolic, merging the primal with the pinnacle of material luxury. It was a visual paradox, hinting at a sacrifice, a sorrow hidden beneath the glittering facade of high society. The guests, including Audrey Hepburn in a birdcage mask and Salvador Dalí himself, responded with their own elaborate creations, becoming living sculptures in a walking, breathing art installation. Each mask, each headpiece, wasn't just a costume but a personal sigil, a representation of their own subconscious unleashed. As the guests moved from the disorienting labyrinth into the grand hall, the full force of Dalí's ritualistic stagecraft was revealed. The dining tables were a landscape of grotesque beauty and alchemical symbolism. Centerpieces were not flowers, but taxidermy turtles impaled by forks. Mannequins, dismembered and draped across the tables, lay amongst plates of food. One notorious image shows a mock human sacrifice laid out on a bed of roses. This wasn't for shock value alone. Dalí was a student of alchemy, the ancient art of transformation. The turtle, a symbol of longevity and the earth, being pierced suggests a disruption of the natural order. The dismembered mannequin represents the alchemical stage of separatio, the breaking down of matter before it can be purified and reconstituted into something new, the philosopher's stone. The food itself was part of the theater, served on plates depicting surreal scenes, turning the act of eating into a form of symbolic consumption. One of the most powerful and overlooked symbols of the evening was the pervasive use of fractured mirrors. Mirrors were everywhere, not as whole reflective surfaces but as broken, fragmented shards. In occult tradition, mirrors are portals, gateways to other dimensions or to the subconscious. A broken mirror signifies a shattered reality, a fractured self, or the breaking of a magical contract. By forcing the elite guests to view themselves in these distorted reflections, Dalí was holding up a shattered mirror to their own society. He was showing them their world not as the cohesive, powerful structure they believed it to be, but as a fragmented, illusory construct. This was a direct psychological intervention, a piece of performance art designed to provoke a subconscious crisis. It was a visual representation of the surrealist aim, to break down the rational and access the deeper truths of the unconscious. To understand Dalí's motives, we must look at his deep connection to ancient and enigmatic theatrical traditions. His work was heavily influenced by the Theatre of Cruelty, a concept developed by Antonin Artaud. Artaud believed theater should be a visceral experience, not just intellectual. It should assault the senses, using shocking imagery and non-verbal communication to bypass the conscious mind and affect the audience on a primal level. The Surrealist Ball was a perfect execution of this philosophy. The jarring sounds, the disorienting labyrinth, the grotesque table settings, it was all designed to create a state of shock and awe, forcing the guests out of their complacent reality. This wasn't entertainment. It was a form of ritual drama, drawing on traditions that date back to the mystery schools of ancient Greece and Egypt, where initiates underwent challenging ordeals to achieve a higher state of consciousness. So, what was the ultimate purpose of this grand, grotesque ritual? Was Dali simply a court jester, providing a bizarre thrill for his wealthy patrons? Or was he a subversive agent, using their own party as a canvas for a powerful critique? The evidence points to the latter. Dali was engaged in a form of cultural alchemy. He was taking the base materials of high society, their wealth, their power, their traditions, and attempting to transmute them. By immersing them in a world of occult symbolism and psychological discomfort, he was performing a ritual of exposure. He was showing them the grotesque and irrational underbelly of their own orderly world. The taxidermy, the broken mirrors, the mock sacrifices, they were forensic evidence of a hidden reality. The decay and artifice that lay just beneath the surface of civilization. The ball's most infamous photographs, often taken out of context to fuel modern conspiracy theories about secret societies, are actually the key to understanding Dali's success. These images, showing powerful figures in bizarre, almost demonic masks, were not meant to be hidden. They were meant to be seen. Dali, the master publicist, knew these photographs would leak. He was documenting the ritual. He was creating a permanent record of the moment the world's elite willingly participated in a surrealist psychodrama, transforming themselves into living symbols of the subconscious. It was the ultimate prank, a subversion from within. He got the Rothschilds to fund and host a party that, on a symbolic level, questioned the very foundations of their power and reality. The legacy of the 1972 Surrealist Ball is not one of a decadent party, but of a masterful piece of performance art. It was Salvador Dalí's magnum opus of social commentary, a ritual designed to deconstruct reality itself. He used the language of the occult, the techniques of the Theatre of Cruelty, and his own unparalleled imagination to hold up a fractured mirror to the face of power. He proved that the most effective subversion doesn't happen on the streets, but in the gilded halls of the establishment itself, disguised as entertainment. The guests may have thought they were attending a costume party, but they were, in fact, the unwitting actors in Dali's final, greatest surrealist act. He didn't just decorate their party. He curated their subconscious and, in doing so, created an event that continues to challenge and disturb us. A timeless riddle painted not on canvas but on the very fabric of society. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of surrealism and secrets. If you found this exploration fascinating, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more deep dives, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. What do you think was the true purpose of the ball? Let us know in the comments below. See you next time.